right now, Baylor women's basketball would be a ninth seed, and it would be in the South Carolina region. That's as of the latest bracketology at this point, which y'all could check that out. Just go on Google and say NCAA women's basketball bracketology, and it takes you there. I mean, not really takes you there, but click on it, the link, and then you see it. Update. Obviously, I know that was a tough loss on Saturday. It just felt like we didn't have enough energy, and we're a very inconsistent team. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I know we've had a tough year all year long. I mean, Asia Blackwell only played a combined 95 minutes up to this point in the year. We thought Dre Edwards would play. She didn't. Kendra Gillespie, she's not played, but I know she's practicing ever since that early on in January. I know we dealt with some sickness as well from multiple players. So that's not excuses, it's the facts when you think about it. So here's the good news. We're better on the road / neutral site than at home. This is time to turn it on. In most of the Power 5 conferences, their conference tournaments are done. You have a shot to move up at least to a better region than at South Carolina one, even if you're an 8 versus 9. We need to find a way to get out of that region by winning. Obviously, if you lose, you'll be out of it, I think. Potentially, but I'm not sure. But I still don't want to lose. Obviously, we don't. And the good news is, we already beat Iowa State once. And it was a road game at their place. And they're a better matchup, I would say, than West Virginia is. We got to come out better on offense and on defense. That's simple enough. And I would dare to say, if you win this game, you might move up to an 8 seed or even a 7, but I'm not sure. I would say for sure an 8, I think. It's just the problem is all the other conference tournaments are done. You got to find a way to move up somehow. And the only way I would say to do that is beat Iowa State. And Iowa State's not even ranked anymore. Mind you, we beat them when they were in the top 15 in the country. And we barely lost to them last time in overtime, double overtime, and we had that game won. I know. So, and I think we're going to learn from it and let whatever happened on Saturday move on from that and prepare better going forward. But I for sure think if somehow they win 2 games, maybe they go up to a 7. Maybe. But the regions I would prefer, honestly, at this point, Utah, if we get in that region. Forget South Carolina. I don't want any part with them. We don't want them. I can promise you that. Indiana, I don't think so. Stanford, maybe. They're not invincible as you think. Maybe. I mean, I don't know about Virginia Tech. I don't think so. I would say most years Stanford would be a no, but this year is a little bit different, maybe. But I'm not positive. But in terms of 2 seeds, some other regions like Maryland, I would like a rematch against those guys, against that team. We have a result against them. We're familiar with them. Honestly, I would say Iowa, because their defense is not that great. It really isn't that great. But they could score the ball, though. They're very, very similar to Iowa State. Very, very similar. Obviously, I know it sounds crazy. LSU, they can't shoot threes. But I know they have a little more depth. But look, we know they're not a great three-point shooting team. And they lost to Tennessee, and they have struggled with unranked teams in the past. That's another example. Utah, yeah, they were on that one line. And they moved out because of a loss to Washington State. That's another region I wouldn't mind. I realistically don't think a 3 seed is going to happen. I mean, play in a 3 seed region like a UConn, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I wouldn't mind because they were kind of banged up. Duke, I don't want to mess with them. Ohio State, maybe. I might, maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't think so. When it comes down to it, so there's very few regions that we don't want to be in. Very few. I mean, I don't think Duke we don't want to be in, and I realistically don't think a 6 seed is going to happen unless we win the Big 12 tournament. That's the only way I could see potentially moving up to a 6, given every other conference is done for the conference tournament. And if we beat Iowa State, Iowa State right now would be a 6 seed. A 6. And then Oklahoma, I would assume they're in the number 2 seed in the Big 12 tournament. If they would win, they're currently a 5 seed. If we win those 2 games, I think we would move up at least to a 7. I would think, based on, look, Oklahoma's ranked in the top 20, and we beat them on the road, and we beat them twice in 1 year. That'd be great. So, and same thing goes for Iowa State. I know Iowa State's not ranked anymore. I know they're not. So, and regardless whatever happens for the rest of the year, let's just put this year behind us, because I know next year is going to be better. I know it will be. I mean, it's the truth. Because, first of all, Oklahoma's going to lose 3 starters. Guaranteed. They're going to be gone. Because of no more 50 years. Iowa State's not going to be as strong, which they were disappointing this year, if we're going to be honest. I know, granted, some of it's Soares got hurt, but still. Texas is still going to be okay. I mean, maybe just as good, maybe a little bit worse. Maybe. Because, look, they're going to lose Sonia Morris. That's a guarantee and a walk-on. Kansas, they're going to lose some 50-year players, but the thing is, Kansas wasn't that great. Kansas State should be better, a little bit better, because they're going to get Ayoka Lee back. But I don't think that much better. West Virginia is fortunate to have Madison Smith as a 50 year, and she's really the big one in terms of 50 years. I know they have another one, but the truth is, Madison Smith for West Virginia, that's the only reason why they beat us on Saturday. Besides maybe a few shots taken by role players and didn't do that much. I'm just telling the truth. We know TCU is going to be one of the worst teams in the Big 12. I would assume, and I would think BYU is an adjustment period to the competition level, and they have a second-year head coach. UCF wasn't that great this year. Cincinnati wasn't that great, and Houston wasn't that great either. I mean, overall record, I know Houston's like third in the American, but they have not a great record. And the American is not as strong as the Big 12, though. It's not. So, yeah, that's going to be, I think it's going to be easier. Though, granted, we don't know the schedules. And I would dare to say next year we should be even better. Because, look, Asia Blackwell should be back. Jane Owens is going to be back. As long as I don't hear anything otherwise, I would assume she will be back. We know Dre Edwards is going to play next year, unlike this year, because of that stupid Kentucky coach refused to sign a waiver. That's another reason. That's going to help. We're going to get a 6'7" post player, and I know she might not play a lot of minutes, but she's going to make a defensive impact. That's going to be better. And I know we're going to try to hit the transfer portal at a center with the height and one more guard, like Asbury, except taller and maybe a little bit better long term. Jamie Asbury, she's been good at Baylor, but not as good as I thought she would be. I mean, and I know it's going to hurt to lose Caitlin Bickle. I know. But, look, if Kendra Gillespie comes back and Eric Porter, I don't know if she's going to transfer out or what. But assuming she's going to be back, we got a solid foundation building for next year. And I know we don't know exactly how this scheduling thing will work for basketball with 14 teams. we'll have to wait and see what happens. Anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe. As you guys, 5 subscribers, we're on the road to it. Let's go.